Welcome to Business Over Beer, where entrepreneurs, small business owners, and people passionate about what they do bring us their stories and their favorite beer. Hosted by Ben Surratt, Jonathan Kaler, and Jason Kuepfer, it's time to get down to business and drink some beer.
You're going to be just fine. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Business Over Beer podcast, the second biggest podcast in the Pacific Northwest, just behind those pesky Sasquatch hunters. And to my immediate upper left is the man of the hour, the terror of power. Some people call him the space cowboy. Some people used to call him Stitches. But he is, again, Spartacus, Mr. Jonathan Kaler. Hello, Jonathan. Happy Friday.
Ben, happy Friday to you, my man. I have all of my terror back. I'm feeling extra powerful today. Yeah. I am Stitchless today. And as Spartacus, I have led you here, as always. I'm feeling good. You know, we're still in the era of the coronavirus, so we can't all be together, but it's great to get back to the Business Over Beer podcast and get back to some semblance of normalcy, you know, where we can. So I'm excited to be with you guys. I'm excited to drink some beer, and we've got an awesome guest tonight. I get to talk about his business. And speaking of getting back to normal, we have got the gift that keeps on giving. He has now become known as the gangsta of Hazeldale. Ben, are you down tonight with the K-N-O-P-P?
Yeah, you know me.
Jason Kuepfer, welcome to Business Over Beer podcast. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty good. I just had a shot of espresso a little bit ago to kind of get myself up and going again for the day, and excited to be back to pretty much our original format the best we can, considering the circumstances. So, man,
you had a shot of espresso, Ben, and I see no change.
No, not one. Not one.
Nice.
No. What's your background today for the people who can't see you?
So my background today is the stadium, Allianz Arena in Munich. And I have that up there again this week because German Bundesliga is starting back up tomorrow.
And you've been there, right? Wasn't that just last year you were there, right?
Last August, yeah. I was there with my dad, actually. And this isn't the picture I took, but I had some pretty decent seats. You can kind of, like, over my just immediately to my right here, right above that entrance. I was about 4 or 5 rows up.
So for all of you listening, Kuepfer is sorry. Hey, Kuepfer, we have a guest tonight or what? Or are we just going to sit here and blather on about ourselves?
I don't know. Yes, we do have a guest. We have a great guest. His name is Jason Kuepfer, and he is with Second Mile Marketplace and Food Hub here in Vancouver, Washington.
Yeah, man. Jason, man, welcome to the podcast. How you doing tonight?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
Oh, man, we're doing great. We're excited to have you on the show.
Yeah.
So, so we typically like to start with your business, so we'll get into that. So why don't you give us sort of the 50,000-foot view of what you do and kind of what your business is into?
All right. Well, we are a commercial kitchen, and that can be used for production of food and for people come in if they have, let's say, like a food truck or any kind of food business that requires a legal kitchen to make their product. And then we are also a food hub that's basically for primarily Clark County farmers to use, and then food producers as well. to bring what they grow to the hub, and can be distributed. People can pick it up and that kind of thing.
Awesome, man. Well, that's exciting. I love the sound of that.
Ooh.
So you must be a chef then, if you're in the commercial kitchen business.
No, I have been a cook before, pizza, but no, my background is more is in food or production, supply chain, production management, and then I have worked in a couple of different food facilities. So
Awesome, man. Well,
and production planning.
I cannot wait to find out how you're kind of you're servicing all the food entrepreneurs that are out there, particularly in Clark County. And we are so blessed here with the food that we have in our immediate area. So I cannot wait to get into further into your business. But this is the Business Over Beer podcast. This is the beer portion, Jason. We ask all of our guests to bring a beer to share. We are hopeful that you brought a beer.
Yep.
Have you brought a beer for us to share?
I have brought a beer for everyone to share.
Awesome. What is that beer?
It is a Mirror Pond Pale Ale. It's basically my go-to. So when I was asked to bring a beer, I said, well, that's a good one. So
Yes. So for anyone not in the Pacific Northwest, Mirror Pond Pale Ale from Deschutes is basically an institution around here.
So the one thing that you and I have in common, Kaler, was this.
One thing?
Well, the one of the multiple things we have in common. This was our staple beer for a long time.
This was my house beer for years, is when I first moved out here.
Yep, me too.
But even more importantly, to your story, this was one of your like conversion beers, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I don't remember the last time I had a Mirror Pond.
You know, it was funny. I pass it in the store all the time, and I love pale ales, but I continue to pass it over. But I'll bet it's been years since I've had a pale ale.
Years, Jason.
A Deschutes,
so thank you.
a Mirror
Thank you,
Pond.
Jason.
So, yeah,
You're
I'm
welcome.
excited to get back into this. So
I'm going to finish this one.
go, Ben, go. He's got to finish his espresso, everybody, before he can drink his Deschutes. What do you think of? You have any Mirror Pond stories, Canope?
I got no Mirror Pond stories.
Have you ever had Mirror Pond?
I have. I like it. It's good beer.
Prost,
Roast, everybody.
Jason, thank you so much for being on the show, man. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man.
That's good.
Dude. That's why that was my conversion beer. It's so delicious. It's so good. And it's only like at 5%. So you can smash these all day, but it still has that full body of, I don't want to say an IPA, but it has that full body mouthfeel to it. For sure.
Yeah, at 40 IBU, it doesn't have that bitterness though. Like I think of like Mosaic Pale Ale from Backwoods that I've been drinking that's got, and I don't know if this is the hops or what, it has a lot more of that bitterness, more of that IPA character, where this is just like smooth, easy drinking, not a lot of bitterness. I mean, I'm surprised that it's even 40, frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes down so easy.
It's so good. So Jason, are you from the Vancouver area originally?
Yes, I am. Was born here, and then my dad was in the railroad, so we moved back towards Montana, and I lived in Montana, a couple of different towns there, and then ended up coming back here. Went up to Bellingham, Washington at Western Washington University, and then ended up coming back. So
That's awesome. What got you into the food service industry?
Well, my degree, up at Western was in manufacturing and supply chain management. And when I graduated, I landed a job at Nike. And then this other position at Tazo Tea came up shortly after that. And so I took that and was there for, a dozen years or so. And then got into the chocolate
What was it
business.
about Tazo Tea? What was it about Tazo Tea versus Nike? I mean, those are obviously, they're both manufacturers, but completely different. What was it about getting over to Tazo from Nike that appealed to you?
I think it was more it was a little bit smaller of a company, for one, and I just liked the product. I was able to actually, working with in Nike, it was a lot of working with overseas, a lot of communication over in facilities over in other countries and such. And I kind of wanted to be more involved with what I was helping to make. And so Tazo presented that opportunity, and so I went there, and it worked out really well, actually. And so it got me introduced to the food production side. And then Tazo
can I ask one more question there? I'm curious the difference. So as a production planner, I've worked for a number of different manufacturers, usually in the sales organization, sales and customer service side. But obviously, I worked very closely with the operations folks and the demand planning side and production planning side. What were the differences? Were there any differences as a production planner between a consumer good like Nike versus something in the food industry? What are those manufacturing processes like, or kind of what were the differences between those two businesses from your perspective?
Well, from the planning side, I guess it's really not. I mean, you're planning item numbers a lot, so in the system it's just, we need this quantity of this item, or this, this ingredient, or you might need whatever for the shoe, you need shoelaces, or
right.
It's the same kind of thing. I think the big difference, other than styles having kind of a shelf life on them, but food has got a shelf life, and you want to get that packaged and to the consumer as quick as possible with as much shelf life on it as possible, so that it doesn't expire and it goes to waste, basically. So
gotcha.
I think that's probably the biggest difference as far as that between food and other stuff. So
that makes sense.
So when did you decide? So your business is a year old? Is it a year?
Yeah, almost exactly a year old. Yeah,
exactly a year. So what was your aha moment as like, I can start my own business, I can do this on my own? And why did you pick what you're doing as your business?
I think the big driver for it was, again, like I was just saying, that production planning is pretty similar in a lot of different places. So I left Tazo and I went to actually work for a chocolate company and doing still more production planning. And
let's be fair. You didn't just go to work for a chocolate company. You went to work for Moonstruck Chocolate. Speaking of institutions around here.
Yes, I did. And yes, it was a really great place. The only thing was that every day I would go to work, I was doing scheduling and production planning, and I was in front of a spreadsheet all day long. And it's just, and when you're doing that, you start thinking, okay, what else kind of things could I be doing that's not, sitting in office, And so one of the things I came up with was, well, how about a food truck? Or a food booth or some sort of food thing, And besides a restaurant, because a restaurant was pretty grand for that, just for me anyway. I mean, opening something like that would have been a little bit much. Little did I know, but in doing that, I was searching for a commercial kitchen to use to be able to produce food and sell it for consumers. You have got to have it has to be made in a legal commercial kitchen. So the health department can come approve the business that's using it. And so if you don't have one, you need to go rent one or find one that you are able to use. And I really was having a hard time trying to find one that I liked in Vancouver, because we were pretty sparse. And so, and then I started seeing, like the Columbian had a newspaper article about saying how short the county is for commercial kitchens. And I just kept hearing this over and over. And I thought, well, if there's such a demand for this, then maybe that would be the direction I'd want to go. Start that up, and then maybe start doing some sort of food service thing that out of that kitchen. But so that's kind of where I got into that, and then
So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit because you're a nice guy and I can tell. What was the breaking point when you're like, I no longer want to work for anybody else? I want to have my own bit. There's a breaking point. Everybody has one. What was your breaking point?
It was just the being in front of the computer screen all day long, and being told I need to be here at this time, and I need to be there until this time every single day. And it's not necessarily the long hours or whatever. That's, it's more what I'm doing every day, and am I fulfilled with it? And that's, that's what I got to do this, and my wife and I are a little bit nervous and still are at the moment, but we're just do it, because it's just, if I don't, it's going to be the exact same thing 10 years from now. I'll be doing this exact same type of work, 10 years from now, and wish I had tried. So I did it.
Good for you, man. Yeah. That is awesome.
Thank you.
A big step.
So what was the food truck concept? Did you get that far in your planning? Like what's your specialty? So what kind of food truck did you want to open up?
I'd rather not say, because I'm still planning to do it.
I love that. So you're not only the renter of commercial kitchens, but he's also a client.
Love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Was that a dig on me, Kaylor? Was that it?
Yes.
On my hair?
Yes. Yes, it was. I mean, that's a fringe benefit, right? That's one of those things that, hey, you've got access to this resource that you were already searching for, but now you have this control over it. And so, from your perspective, I mean, we've talked on this show a lot about, streams of revenue and diversification. So I mean, what a good idea as far as, hey, listen, this allows me not only to do this business and help other people, but I can still follow my own passion and go and do some of these other things. So that's really cool.
That is really cool. Well,
yeah,
go ahead.
Say, in doing that as well, I think it helps to have more in common with customers as well. It's like I'm in the trenches with you, in a sense, so I understand what kind of things you need and what you'd like to see in a kitchen. And that's, one of the things that I had in my mind was that I want it to be a really great place for people to work, including myself. So that was, I think it's a good way to really to understand that, and what people are doing.
Well, I mean, and as someone whose primary background is in the operations side, this is your sales angle, right? I mean, we all have to, as salespeople, and you and I talked a little bit about this when we first met, kind of talking about the fact that you're an operations guy, you don't have a background in sales, but as a business owner, you're in sales.
You need to be in sales.
You need to be
Yeah.
in sales. But I think that approach that you've hit on is, hey, listen, I have the same hopes and dreams and desires that you have, and being able to make that connection with your customers is that is a sales technique, right? And that will make you a better salesperson and be very authentic when you're trying to pitch your space to budding entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and plus I can learn from folks who are coming in as well, because I've never run a food booth before, so
right,
so
yeah, right, exactly. So
there's a lot I can learn, and
yeah.
So the one thing you had to, I don't know, maybe you had to sell it. You mentioned your wife was.
yes.
So did you sell it to your wife, or was she on board immediately, or how did that go?
She was always on board and supportive of it. It was just a matter of me getting and doing it, going in, because there's a lot of, you get in a job and you work it for years, and it's pretty easy to stay there. It's you've got a steady paycheck every week, and but really I really didn't enjoy what I was doing every day, and she saw that, and she just said, do it, and I've got a business partner who we'd been working. Her focus was actually the food hub side of it, and I was looking for the kitchen, and she wanted to have a kitchen along with the food hub. And so, between the two of us, we had a pretty decent plan going, and my wife just, said, we can do it. We can manage this, at least for a while.
That's awesome. How did you meet your business partners? I mean, did you have a relationship with your business partner prior to that, or did you kind of meet through the process of becoming an entrepreneur?
Actually, my wife worked with her. My wife and her worked together. And so my wife knew that she was looking for somebody to I should say she was working on the same kind of idea. And then I got involved with what is called the Food System Council here in Vancouver, or in Clark County. And Holly, my business partner, was on this Food System Council as well. So I got to meet her there, and then we started talking and just decided that we were both kind of interested in the same thing, and that this would be a good fit. So we did.
What is the Food System Council?
It's basically it's an organization for improving and helping out with Clark County food, sustainability in Clark County, and helping farmers and people in general to understand that we really need to help our food system be the best it can be locally. Basically promote local foods, and the need to have a sustainable food system within our area.
That's awesome. So, I want to get into the food hub a little bit and make the connection from the food hub to the commercial kitchen, and how those two things work together in your business.
Yeah.
But Ben, I'm thirsty.
Is it that time?
I'm thirsty. Are you thirsty?
I'm always thirsty.
You're always thirsty.
Is it that time?
I think so.
Well, Jason, every episode, my lovely wife, Angela, likes to bring a mystery beer. And we call this segment Angie's Mystery Beer. So in front of you, you should have a wrapped, like I do, a wrapped can for people who are listening. And this is awesome, by the way, that we all have Well, Canope's got the grandma's cooler.
He's got to get out of grandma's cooler first.
We
There
all
go.
have a wrapped can.
Gotta keep it chilled.
Merry Christmas in May, everyone. Jason, I
Yeah.
should let you know that they are Christmas fanatics in the Surratt household. They have their Christmas tree up right now because they said if we're all going to be stuck at home together, and Hallmark was playing all the Christmas movies back in March, right? They're like, we're putting our Christmas tree up. So they're Christmas fanatics. So Merry Christmas in May to us.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
So the way this works, we open it,
We
right?
open it.
Just open the beer. Don't pull the wrapping.
Oh, that's
all
right.
off.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Yeah. It's
Oh,
been
okay.
a while.
Yeah. Oh, it's upside down. That's probably not it.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I should probably
Did
figure
that
out where
too.
the top is. I think
You
she
wrapped
put.
mine upside down. What'd you do?
I think she put tape. She put tape on the top of mine.
Yeah, she
so
did. She did.
This is a new. Usually we have one bottle that we share.
My goodness, and she.
All right.
Actually, I like this way of doing it because you really can't see.
I'm ready.
There we go. Just for the record, I got nothing.
Okay, hold on.
And we take a sip, and we'll try to figure out what kind of beer it is. Oh. And as usual, I'm a terrible pourer.
We call him Stitches.
Shut your face.
Oh, well, it's a hazy.
It's beautiful, though.
Pour.
Despite the bad pour, it's beautiful. Prost, everyone.
Oh, Prost. Dude,
Prost.
that's a solid pour, dude.
No, it should only be 2 fingers. It's 4 fingers. I do get to have a little foamy
Well, that's
mustache,
juicy.
so that's always fun.
That's juicy.
So Jason, Angie has a history of of like high octane beers, like doubles.
All right.
She did say she went easy on us.
Oh, did she?
She did.
Wait, did you already open it? You already know what it is. No, you can open. Look at that. Look at that
I
sheepish
didn't-
grin he's got. He
No,
already
I-
opened it.
Right when I tasted it, I was like, oh, I think I know what this is.
What do you think it is?
It tastes a lot like Orange Whip to me.
You think it's Orange Whip?
That's what I was thinking, dude, for sure.
I don't think it's Orange Whip. It's not. There's not.
No, Orange Whip this is more bitter.
You think this is more bitter? See, I think Orange Whip is more bitter than this. This is. I don't know. Maybe it is.
All right, Jason,
Yep.
can you do the reveal?
I can and I will.
It's orange.
It's orange.
It's the
Ah,
shoots.
the shoots as
It's
well.
the shoots.
No.
Come on.
This
No,
is
it's
not.
funny, it's
I
like-
swear to you, everybody, we did not know.
Fresh Haze IPA.
The fresh haze.
Oh, the fresh
IPA.
haze.
It's good. I like it.
The fresh haze. This is spooky.
So we've had.
Oh my goodness, this is spooky.
So this is. I mean, quite honestly, we don't plan this. Swear to God, we had an episode where the guest brought a Stone Brewery beer, and the Angie's Mystery beer was a Stone beer. We had an episode where the guest
Harley
brought a Belgian beer,
The Belgian beer.
and hers was a Belgian beer. Like it's happened. This is probably what, the third, fourth, fifth time,
Oh.
something like that, where we've had these like.
Wow. So
That's crazy.
fresh haze is freshly squeezed.
A hazy fresh squeeze.
Yeah.
It's a hazy fresh squeezed.
We should call our Cicerone friend and find out what
Is he-
makes that hazy.
It is juicy. I knew it was juicy. What do you think of it, Jason?
I think it's delicious. I like that it's not too bitter. It's similar to the Mirror Pond, in flavor, but
It is. It's got sort of that. It's punchier.
You're right. It's
punchier,
Yep.
it doesn't have that bitter. See, I don't think it has any bitterness. It doesn't have that bitter, that like even that like orange or tangerine sort of citrus fruit bitterness. It's got that citrus fruity punch, but not the bitterness.
Yeah. The hoppy flavor, but not the bite.
It's good though.
It
smells good. You smell it?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's spooky. That is so weird.
It's crazy.
Jonathan, please explain how this worked, because people are going to be asking questions like, how is this possible that we did not set this up?
Okay, so Jason and I had we had a call. What was that, like Wednesday this week?
Wednesday, yeah, a couple days ago anyway.
Yeah, and I explained to him how the guest beer works, and he said, "Yeah, I'll go out and I'll buy a guest beer." And we talked a little bit about it, but and then I talked to Ben, and I said, "Okay, hey, here's what's going to happen, Ben. I'm going to go grab the guest beer because we're all local."
This was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Okay.
I said, Ben, I'm gonna go try to grab the guest beer from Jason, so we're all drinking the same thing. Can Angie go get the Angie's mystery beer? I'll pick up the Angie's mystery beer from you, which I did, and they were already individually wrapped.
They were.
So I grabbed them. I went out and I met Jason, and Jason handed me the Mirror Pond, and I handed him the guest beer, or the Angie's mystery beer. And then I went and I dropped off the Mirror Ponds to you guys, and that was it.
Hey,
I had no conversations with Angie, but he had bought the Mirror Pond, completely separate of Angie buying the mystery beer. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That's awesome.
I almost pre-funked with freshly squeezed as well.
Did you?
I was going to bring the can, which is even stranger.
Is that like a pregame?
What's pre-funk?
Is that a pregame?
The beer we drink before we actually start. The pre-funk.
So pre-funk, pregame show.
Hey Jason, have you ever heard the term pre-funk?
I have.
See, that must be.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's a Vancouver thing.
Yes, it is.
It's like a house party before you go out.
Yeah, that's right.
Or whatever. Yeah.
You get ready for the party.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, we're from the Midwest. We call it pre-gaming.
It's
Pre-gaming.
I've never heard of pre-funking, but apparently the two Jasons.
The amount of time that you've been in the Northwest, I cannot believe you have not heard of.
I have never heard of that.
Well, I'm 44 years old. I don't pre-game anymore. I just game, bro.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And that game is usually pretty short.
Yeah.
It's more post game.
Yeah, right. That's right. There's a lot of post game.
That was fun. That was hilarious.
Oh God.
It's
Jason, if I were you, I would drop the mic and get out, bro.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Fantastic.
Costanza. Everybody, I'm out. Goodbye. Oh man. So I do want to know about the food hub
Definitely.
portion of the business.
Okay. Well, it's that part is actually what is helping tremendously right now, or we should hope that's the plan right now through the whole COVID thing, because a lot of our customers, they don't have outlets for what they sell, and so they say, well, I'm sorry, we have no need to rent any time in your kitchen because we don't have any place to sell what we make, so it doesn't make financial sense for us. And I get that. And so the food hub was already in the works, but we just kind of pushed to move it along. So pretty much in a nutshell, what the food hub is a place for local farms to bring their product to to the hub, I guess, for lack of a better word, for distribution. So what we're setting up now is to have online ordering. So you can go on and order or order your products that you want. You know, if you want strawberries and some raspberries, or, you know, whatever's coming out here pretty quick, you can go online, pick it. You can pick the farm you want to buy it from, and down to that detail. And then the farmers in turn will get their orders. So for a few days, people will be able to make orders, or put their orders in. Then we would supply the specific farms with what they need to bring and what they've sold. So effectively, they have sold whatever's, you know, on their order, and they bring it to the hub, and then we will consolidate, you know, all the orders from different customers into one box or package, and then they can just come by and pick it up. So once a week, the orders will, you know, say we stop taking orders on Tuesday, get the farms their information. The farms bring the stuff on Wednesday, we consolidate it, and then people can pick it up, say, on Thursday. So
what types of things are going to be available? Is this all like produce, or are you working with protein as well?
We are,
or will be. What is the plan? I know this is all still kind of coming together.
It is. We're still kind of working out what we are going to be selling there, and pretty much, yeah, it's seasonal stuff, obviously, for now. Then I believe we should be able to sell like protein meat and different products through this process. I'm not exactly sure at the moment about that, what our regulations are for meat, but I believe we would be okay with that.
Out of the gate, it's going to be primarily produce.
Yeah. It's going to be grown stuff, you know, and whatever's in season. And then, in addition to that, if we've got people who are using the kitchen to produce their retail items. So, for example, we've got somebody who sells nut butter. They can still produce their nut butter in the kitchen, and then we can consolidate it and put it we could sell it through the food hub, and, you know, customers would be able to order that online as well. So anything that our kitchen customers are making potentially could be sold through the hub as well.
So these are two separate businesses, correct? That will be working together.
Correct. The hub is a separate entity. It's a nonprofit, actually, and then the kitchen operates is completely separate, and then the hub it gives the hub a location to sell through, basically. And it's kind of a good hand in hand. It's all food related, and I think it's a really good plan to move forward with. So.
Will this be I noticed you guys had a shop on your website where you have some produce and stuff currently. Is this kind of the idea that you'll have everything for the hub within the shop, or?
Yeah, it's the front space. We call it our meeting space. That is set up for meetings. Yeah, you know, it wouldn't necessarily have to be food related, but you can do pretty much anybody could come in and reserve the time to have just a meeting in there. But we can also do cooking classes in there, that space. You know, say somebody wanted to teach canning, you know, how to can foods. They could do that there. Just educational classes. And so, but for this purpose, yeah, we'll be setting it up to where we'll have all of the different orders consolidated in that space. And then when people come by to pick them up, we can just quickly get them their orders, and they can go. And lots of social distancing going on, and so then that's, you know, we're looking forward to that picking up and that working.
Yeah, for sure.
So before we get into the COVID if I didn't ask this question, my wife would kick me out. She's a dietitian. She had her degree in dietitian, and she would immediately ask, how do you prevent cross-contamination? How clean is your business? And you're pretty proud of your cleanliness. So explain that to everybody, please.
It is, well, pre-COVID, it was already clean. I mean, that's one of the things that anybody who's come in to tour the place has said is this is a very clean kitchen, you know, for rentals that they've seen and around town. Our main goal is, like I said, it was to be a place that I would want to work in, and that, you know, I enjoy, and that it's clean. We regularly clean the place, and then it's required for any customers who use it to clean up after themselves and to basically make it the same as it had been when they got there. Then we have been inspected by public health, and we've been inspected by Department of Agriculture. They have come in and, you know, said, we had to get our own permit to be able to even be open. And then each customer requires a permit from the Department of Health. So the Department of Health will come in and inspect our kitchen for them to use.
Is this before COVID?
This is before COVID. Yeah. It's,
wow.
It is.
Whoa.
It's.
So all right, before we go further,
okay,
I don't want to confuse our listeners. So for people who don't know what cross-contamination is, can you explain that for our listeners who just may not know?
Yeah. So so in that inspection and such, you have to you can only put, say, raw chicken on the bottom shelf of a refrigerator, and you go up to where if something from one shelf above drops down to the one below, it's not going to contaminate that. Then and then for cross-contamination, you don't want one customer's product to get into the other customer's product. And so that's where it comes in, where the health department and Department of Ag requires that you clean and sanitize your surfaces before changing over to a different product. That's already there. So
yeah, as part of the standard operating procedure, just to run the business.
Yep.
Period.
Yep. And so basically the health department and Department of Ag require that you keep the place clean, and you have to be able to, as each of the customers, anybody who comes in to use the kitchen has to show how they're going to prevent cross-contamination into their product. And they have to show how they're going to keep their food safe at temperature. And that's kind of where we come in, because our refrigerators have to be, you know, below 40 degrees or 40 and below to keep the food at a low temperature. And then each customer has got to be able to show how they're going to keep their food safe. So there's checks and rechecks, especially through a commercial kitchen or a shared kitchen, because it's a big risk, you know, it could be a very big risk if you're not careful, and if you don't have that in your plan already, you know, your business plan or your food safety plan. So then COVID, we basically, okay, stop. You can't do anything right now. We had to present a plan to say what we were going to do to prevent COVID, on top of all the other, you know, foodborne illness and all those things.
And who did you have to present that plan to?
Yes, it was a separate plan. Yeah, that was yeah.
Is that to the Department of Ag or was that to
Department of Health? Department of Health. Clark County Department of Health. So we had to say how we were going to keep distancing, and so we basically have come down to we'll only have like one customer in the kitchen at a time, and that customer would be allowed to have at most, 3 people, but we'd prefer 2 or 1 really, but because there's enough space in our kitchen to keep people 6 feet apart. And so it's kind of up to the individual business at that point to stick to that, and as their from their business perspective. And then masks will be worn. We will be wiping down surfaces every 30 minutes, and we just had to present how we were going to keep COVID from spreading to customers, on top of the already stringent cleaning schedules. And
Yeah, we don't care about salmonella anymore. That's fine.
yeah, I know.
Right?
It's all about COVID now. Oh, you got raw chicken on board? That's fine.
You know what, Jason? Can I put you on the spot again because you're such a nice guy?
Okay, that's good.
Are we seeing a change, or are we going to see a change in the restaurant business, in the hospitality business, from here on out? Is COVID going to be the game changer when it comes to, I want to go out and eat?
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion?
Because it would be fully my opinion. That'd be just opinion, because I don't work with restaurants, per se. So like sit down.
How about in the food service industry alone?
I think so. I'm not. What's weird is I'm not seeing. I don't know. Maybe you have. I haven't seen anything where they're concerned about food contamination. It's like the meat packing. How that's blowing up. But the concern is the people, which it should be, the people working there getting sick. But there's not really anything saying, people who are getting sick are handling the meat. So I don't know if that's a thing or not, if that's a concern for people, or the Department of Ag, or whoever, the CDC, or.
So I guess my question would be, do you think that, like, if I had to, if I wanted to cook a Thanksgiving dinner,
okay,
would it make more sense for me to utilize something that you have that is clean? Mm-hmm. I can go in there. I know it's clean. I know it'll be taken care of. I can feed my family. Are we going to see more of that? Do you think that will happen?
Boy, that would be. If you're going to sell that turkey to somebody, I could see that being maybe looked on a little bit more closely. But if you're not selling it to the public, I don't know. I can't see how they can come to your house and tell you you've got to.
but even if I have a family member who's concerned about it, but I'm utilizing your facility, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Do you think there's a need there? Like, can you see the benefit for your business?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if somebody wanted to come in and rent time to cook their dinner, that's fine. If they want to come do that, and if they're more comfortable with that.
Are they are you cool with private people coming in?
Not. So for us to be able to, for people to be able to sell product, you got to have permits, you got to have licensing, you got to have insurance for us. If somebody just wanted to come in and cook, I think that would be perfectly fine, and they could rent by the hour, and they'd have to sign a waiver saying that if something happens to their food and all that, we're not held responsible for it.
Do you have that available right now or not?
Yeah, we've got a form that people can sign to say that they're kind of on their own if they want to do that. Yeah, because it's the main thing is that they'd have to have permitting if they're going to sell it. If they just want to make it and eat it, that's
I just want Kaylor to make me some ribs.
Okay, we can do that.
And I want it to be done in a clean place.
All right.
He's going to call you up. And you're going to meet there, and he's going to feed us all.
Do you not trust the Kaler household?
I mean, I have cooked dinner for you and your family in my kitchen countless times.
Yeah,
And every time you leave going, that Kaler can cook. And now all of a sudden, in the time of COVID,
He's questioning
now
your
apparently
cleanliness.
my kitchen is suspect now.
It seems like if you're concerned about cooking in your own kitchen, that's a problem.
I'm not concerned about cooking in my kitchen, but
No,
he's
I know,
concerned about me cooking for him in my kitchen, apparently.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't cook ribs for you in my kitchen, I'd cook them on my grill, friend.
Ooh,
Oh,
Tomorrow?
Can we? Yeah, tomorrow. Is that cool?
Hey, where I see this being a good thing is, let's say you're going to have a birthday party for your kid and you want to knock out a bunch of cupcakes.
Yep.
I can only put 2 racks in my oven, but I need 10.
Yep.
And I mean, I was looking at your rates. I was like, who wouldn't do that? Who wouldn't want to use this facility?
Well, and on top of that, you have event space.
Yes.
Yep.
So potentially you could go and cook the cupcakes and have the birthday party there, right?
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially.
Well, I'm not saying yes right now because I'm not exactly sure if that would work or if that what the legalities are of bringing kids into there and having them cook. But if you, if an adult came in,
I'm saying if I wanted to have a birthday party for my son,
yes,
I would throw a birthday party in the event space.
Yes, you could do that.
And we would rent your kitchen to cook the cake or the cupcakes.
Absolutely.
Separate, and then we would bring them in.
Yep.
That's
Jason,
possible? We can do that? Can we do that?
That's called vertical integration.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
No,
so,
but kind of going back to Ben's point, and I want to ask it in a different way. I think he was trying to ask, and if he wasn't, then I'm going to ask it. So, is it safer for me as a consumer to buy my Thanksgiving turkey from you versus going to one of the major grocery store chains to buy that turkey? Even if it's just from a mindset or it just makes me feel better about things standpoint.
I would, yeah. I mean, I know it'd be safer, but it would be safe, right? Because we would, if you'd have to buy it from somebody who's got a catering permit or a permit to be able to sell, and they would come in and cook for you, and then you would be able to come pick it up and that.
Let's dig into your ideal customer then, or just your customer base then in general.
Yeah.
So let's start first with Food Hub.
Okay.
Is that a consumer based business? Can I come and buy the food from the Food Hub as just an individual consumer versus going to Chuck's or Freddy's or New Seasons? Can I come to you and buy my produce?
You wouldn't be able to walk in the door and have it set up like a grocery store, because that's not what it's going to be. It'll be you'd go online and order, and then on your pickup day you would come and pick it up.
Right.
But yes, yeah, you could do that. Yeah, that's what we're setting up right now, is for people to buy from from the farmers and
perfect. I just wanted to establish that the Food Hub side is a consumer based business, so you have the opportunity to go really farm to your place to consumer.
Yes,
that's awesome.
That's and it helps the farmers out. They would have sold whatever they're bringing in already. They wouldn't be bringing stuff in to have it sit on the shelf in case it sold. It would be sold.
Right. Right. And I would think long term you're hoping that there's enough ongoing demand that you could potentially bring in inventory knowing that you're going to get those turns because you've got enough customers who are buying on a regular basis. Now, right now, you're probably going to buy on a more made-to-order basis or just-in-time basis. But see what I did there, Ben? You see what I did there? I'm throwing out these production planning terms like just-in-time and made-to-order.
Love it.
See, I'm talking his language.
Love it,
Yep.
man.
You are.
So
Especially from a scheduling
so let's shift then back to your to the commercial kitchen. So who are your existing customers? Let's talk in a normal time frame. Let's kind of take COVID out of the equation for a moment, because I know things are completely in flux for you. So I mean, you've been in business for a year. You shared with me that business was going well. You were building a customer base. Kind of talk about who are those customers? Who are you really targeting? Who's using your commercial kitchen?
Our commercial kitchen, the kitchen side of it is being used by basically any food businesses. So food trucks, caterers, food booths, for farmers market vendors, that kind of thing. There's just a food service place that requires a kitchen, but they're not a restaurant per se. You don't have a sit down space, but they've got, it's going to be you're serving hot food as a meal. And then we also have like retail items that people can sell that say they're packaged. So they're packaged and labeled, and you find them in a grocery store, or you can find them at the farmer's market, or they're just packaged. Basically, is the difference between those two things. And so that's, in a nutshell, that's pretty much, those are the two basic ones. You've got a baker in there. Just food related businesses is the main customer for the kitchen.
Kaylor, there you go, man. Let's do this.
Hey man, I'm the
Get the
sauce
ribs
guy,
going.
right? Look, man,
You're the sauce guy, man.
Hey man, when I first met him, I'm like, I could go practice in a commercial kitchen. I'm excited about that. So
Yeah.
I have just one last question for you. One of the things that you had mentioned to us was, if you could go back to when you first started, if we're, what you know now versus what you knew then, the thing that you would tell yourself is to be a better negotiator. What advice would you give to somebody who is just starting their business? What advice would you give them about negotiations to start their business?
I'd say don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid to say, this is what I need, and don't be afraid that they might say, nope, not going to do that, because you'll end up spending more on stuff that you didn't need to spend as much on, I think is the big thing. I'd say, like we said, I'm an operations guy, not a sales guy. To me, that's pretty kind of similar, being able to negotiate like that is, just going after what you really want and what you need. And then have a good plan. Your business plan is probably the biggest thing too. So.
Yeah, I think that's just so important. I mean, obviously you have your business plan. You should have a good sense of what you need. Negotiations are all about leverage, but understanding what is my leverage as the negotiator. But if you understand what you need and ask for it, and also understand that there are other people who can supply it, it's so important to shop. And just what you said, man, and just what you said, just ask. If knowing what you need and what you want is almost half the battle.
Amen to that, man.
And if you know that and have the confidence to ask for it, that's really important. So that's a good lesson.
Yeah.
Amen.
So I'm looking around your website here, and I noticed you have the shop link, and you've got all kinds of stuff. You've got microgreens, greens, different vegetables, plant starts, even honey. This appears to be a great place where you could promote, maybe the 24/7 farmers market. Is that something that you guys are looking at doing?
Yeah, as we're testing this out and people start using it more, potentially we would would be able to open up for, pick up more often during the week, not just one day a week. So yeah, it could end up being a weekly or, a week-long farmer's market instead of just once a week.
That's pretty cool. So what kind of vegetables could I get? Anything?
Depending on what's in season, but whatever you could get at the farmer's market, I would see you being able to get there, as long as the farms that are using the hub are growing it. You could get it there. So
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love that.
If you're worried about what's going on now with COVID, I mean, why not just hop online to a online local farmers market?
Yeah.
Where did you find that, Canope?
If you go to his website, you go to secondmilemarketplace.com. They have a link at the top right that just says shop, and I assume you guys are developing it out and adding new products and stuff. And
it's just in development now and just went live, really. So
yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, you could, depending on when your pickup times are, you could just order your stuff and plan out your meal for, if you're going to need certain vegetables and whatnot. Pick it up on whatever day you have it available, and bam, you don't have to wait till the weekend for farmers market. Do it all week long.
That's awesome.
Ben,
Is it that time?
it's time.
So Jason, every episode we have one final question for our guests.
all right.
You said in your bio that you like to travel more, right?
I would like to, yes. Yep.
If you could have a dinner anywhere, it doesn't matter. It could be a place you've been or a place you haven't been. Where would that dinner be?
Or would it be Italy? I think somewhere in a small town in Italy where they know how to cook, a great restaurant or something. But yeah, I think Italy would be the place.
What would you order?
What would you, dude? And what would you order? Canope, move over. Jason, we have a new Jason in town. And what would you order?
I would most likely order something I don't know what it is. I want a description of kind of what it is, but I wouldn't go there and order spaghetti and marinara sauce. I'd probably go there and order something that's, very unique to that region, or something that, that I wouldn't be able to get here in Vancouver.
Of course. Yeah. Awesome answer.
Yes.
That makes me want to go back to Italy.
Maybe after COVID we can go.
Oh my gosh.
Let's do this.
Dude, for real.
I'm ready.
For real.
Ready.
Awesome. Jason, hey man, thank you so much for coming on the program tonight. If people want to learn more about Second Mile Marketplace and Food Hub, where should people go?
They go to the website at secondmilemarketplace.com, or you can send an email to info@secondmilemarketplace. Those would be the best places to get a hold of us.
Outstanding. And so we will, of course, always have show notes and a blog post on our website where you can find the links to Jason's site, to that email address, and, of course, everything that we talked about on tonight's show.
Canope.
Yes, sir.
If people want to find business over beer, where do they go?
Well, they got to go to Business Over Beer's website. That's bizoverbeer.com, bizoverbeer.com.
And what can they find on the website?
Well, they can find us, some information about us, or lovely pictures. They can find a place to listen to our podcast on our different platforms. They can find our social media handles. They can find a place to watch some of the video podcasts we got. And,
did we ever get Pandora? Did we get Pandora?
Yes, we covered that. Come on, man. That's old news, bro.
Yeah.
We're on Pandora now?
We are on Pandora.
Yeah, remember? Were you at our live event at Heathen for Valentine's Day?
Did we have beer there?
One, maybe two that night.
No more than 2.
We pre-funked the hell out of our Valentine's Day episode.
We did.
Maybe, hey Ben, do me a favor. Go to bizoverbeer.com and go find the Valentine's Day episode and listen. You'll see.
Okay.
You'll hear that we're on Pandora.
Awesome.
Oh man.
Jason, hey, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate
Oh, thanks, you guys.
It's awesome what you're doing. And listeners, thank you so much. We would not be here without you, the people looking. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is why we're meant for podcasts. And not
Faces for
YouTube.
radio.
I don't know about you guys. Come on.
On that note, we will see you all next time.
Good night.
Business Over Beer reminds you to always drink responsibly. Our theme song is Idiocracy by Christian Leo. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Business Over Beer.
That's the program.
That's it.